Last week on Film Fights. Because he thinks like a barbarian. He's like, oh, you eat the heart of your enemy to gain their courage. You eat the page of a book to gain its knowledge.
Oh, hey, it's good to see you. Perfect timing. I'm just boiling up a pot of books. Why don't you come in and grab a scoop?
Because, what was it? She died making breakfast. And she's like,
that's a great song.
That's beautiful. That's a great song.
She was frying up the chicken, then her heart took a licking. Guys, this stuff writes itself.
This movie was not the best, and I'm not gonna even lie. It reminds me of the 1820s, and I'm not a big fan of the 1820s.
And now for the exciting conclusion of John Travolta Off 1996 edition, coming at you live and edited right now.
Hello, lovely spectators, and welcome to a very special mini episode of Film Fights. I am your fearless host, Jono Rodriguez. And joining me, of course, for the very first time, every single time, is my wonderful, wired up to the guys. Yep, he's a guy wire. It's my friend, Conrad Hartman. Hey, Conrad, how's it going?
Woo-wee! I am wired and fired and sired, ready to inquire about your thoughts about a real crap of a gem.
Yep, I can't wait. I cannot. I can. I can wait all forever to talk about this.
I just don't want to wait for our lives to be over.
No,
because I don't want to be in Dawson's Creek no more.
No.
I thought that's how the song went.
It is. I don't want to wait for Dawson's Creek to be over. I just want season after season after season.
No, you don't want to wait for it to be over. Why can't I turn the TV off right now?
Well, because the remote control's broken. Everyone,
damn it!
You keep throwing it at the TV every time Dawson cheats on Joey.
I told her 20 times when she's at the store getting my six-pack and my dinners to get batteries for the remotes so that I can shut her up with the TV. That's a 60s sitcom guy.
Yeah, it sounds like 50s sitcom guy.
Well, the translation from modern culture to TV is about a 10-year difference. So, right now, TV shows are still pre-COVID. They're in the 2010s.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And then in 8 more years, we're going to start seeing people being like, is this a TikTok of a quarantine or what? And we'll be like, oh, I get that reference. That was 10 years ago.
Uh-huh. It's a real all in the family versus modern family situation. All in the modern family. So, Conrad, this is a podcast where we talk about movies,
so.
Right? Yeah, so you want to explain for our lovely specters?
If you're joining us for the very first time, welcome. Thanks for being here. And if you're joining us for the umpteenth time, welcome. Thanks for being here. You see, here on Film Fights, folks, every week, Jono and I pick two movies in a genre or with some kind of through line. We pit them against one another in a brutal grudge match, with one coming out on top to reign supreme. But then, we also like to do a little dessert, not even a full slice of cake, like a little mint that comes after the dinner that you're like, oh, this is free? Okay, I guess I'll have one.
Is it gluten-free?
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Just live your life. Anyway, so this is a Singlie episode. Last week, of course, we were talking about two John Travolta movies from 1996, but there is a third John Travolta movie. That's right, a third John Travolta movie that came out in 1996, and it's called Broken Arrow.
Yes. Broken Arrow, as directed by the great John Woo. And this is actually 1 year before his probably more liked movie.
Probably.
Featuring John Travolta, which is Face Off. Maybe we'll do that someday. I don't know. But we are limited to 1996. We would have loved to do Face Off, but our producer, a.k.a. us.
Future Jono.
Future Jono, the slave driver that he is like, no, it's 1996 or bust.
He's a real stickler for himself in the past.
He is. He's a real pickler, too. You know, have you seen his apartment?
But the problem is, since he's in the future, he's never able to get it pickled.
No.
It's always just cucumbers
just
and
cucumbers
vinegar.
and eggs just in a vat.
Oh, he's trying to pickle eggs, too.
Yeah, he's trying. Just smells like wet car keys in that place. and blood farts. So,
oh my gosh.
So we're finishing up with 1996 with Broken Arrow, and you know, I remember seeing this movie when it came out once, and all I remembered, the only thing I remember from it was John Travolta turning into a dummy and getting hit by a missile or whatever flying out of the train.
Okay, so for the uninitiated, if you've not seen this movie, you're smarter than we are. So the term broken arrow refers to a missing nuclear warhead, which don't Google that because it's very scary how many are missing. There are a lot. Like, the world is littered with broken arrows.
Oh, yeah. You know, your time would best be served looking at how many possible meteors are going to actually hit Earth in the next few years.
Yeah, so you know what? Don't go to WebMD.
Yeah.
Don't look up how many missing nuclear warheads there are. Don't look up, like, what does this pain in my chest mean?
Yeah, don't get on the internet. Don't, you know what, just stay in bed. You know, but don't even do that because bed sores, right?
Just dare.
just dare.
So this movie centers around our favorite hero, John Travolta.
Oh,
except looks like he's not actually heroic.
Oh, yeah. He's a bad guy, and not a cool bad guy like in Pulp Fiction. No, he is a mustache twirling, like if like, think of like a cartoon bad guy from the 50s. This is what he's doing. That's
now,
what
take away the style from them.
Take away what's likable about them.
Take away their cool handlebar mustaches and their giant top hats and their big scary noses.
Yeah.
And instead have a guy that looks like he votes against his own interests. Now, he and Christian Slater open this movie with a boxing scene just to show that Travolta's got, you know, the upper hand.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that they were doing a boxing. They didn't have any mouth guards or head carriages or whatever they're called to protect them. They're just boxing.
So this was my first watch of this movie. I had never seen it before.
Yeah, well, lucky you.
And at first I thought maybe I was watching the wrong movie because they're like boxing. And I was like, oh, I thought this was like an espionage movie.
Yeah, you thought this was like Diggstown or something. I think that's how that movie opens.
Yeah, Burgess Meredith talking to Christian Slater like, he doesn't just want to beat you. He wants to broken your arrow.
He wants to eat you. Yeah, John Travolta wins because he's a snarky little, you know, guy, and he's smoking a cigarette, and he's like, hey, I beat you. Here's $20, or give me $20 or whatever. However betting works when you box. I don't know.
It's different every time.
I don't do that. I'm not going to get involved.
Which part of it do you not do? The betting or the boxing?
I don't do it.
I don't even do unboxing videos because I'm protesting the violence in boxing so hard. I don't even want to have it, the word.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those unboxing videos, you know, they're everywhere. But how come there are no, like, you know, I want to put this away. I'm boxing it up, hey, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, I do not celebrate Boxing Day. I will not. I refuse.
Well, it's because you don't move very often.
What?
Because you box things up when you move. You have to box it all up.
I thought you said you don't moo very like a cow.
Well, you don't.
Right. I mean,
you shouldn't be confused by that statement. You don't quack. You don't bark. I mean, you bark orders, but I mean, that's another story.
All right. Speaking of barking orders, Christian Slater is like, here's your money. And John Travolta's like, I don't want your money. And he's like, no, it's yours. I took it out of your wallet earlier. Here you go.
And he goes, and you're like, which one's the bad guy here?
I always assume Christian Slater's going to be the bad guy.
Oh no, this was during a time when he was like the cool guy. He was like up and coming.
Heathers.
Yeah, well,
he wasn't. He was.
I was saying that, like, because he did Pump Up the Volume and Cuffs. Well, those are also earlier. But hey, he had to work hard at these in order to be a star in '96 after True Romance.
Yeah, it's always a race to the bottom if you're using Pump Up the Volume as a reference.
Hey, that's a movie, which is more than I can say about a lot of stuff we watch.
Oh man, no shit. This one included.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about those snuff box episodes of that show. See what I did there?
Can't demonetize us if we're not monetized. Checkmate.
Boo, yeah. We could say whatever we want. We could be all like, no.
Yeah, so then Sergeant Boss is like, you guys have to come to my office. And they're like, what's up? And he's like, you can't smoke in here, John Travolta. Anyway, I need you to go on a training exercise in a stealth bomber, but you're going to be carrying 2 actual live warheads.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not armed. They're basically like shoeboxes if they're unarmed.
That's right, folks. You don't need to worry about nuclear weapons.
No, you don't.
They're basically shoeboxes.
If the remote controls are lost for them, then they're just dust collectors. You could kick those around. You could you could play volleyball with them. I don't know why you would. They're heavy.
And the wrong shape. They're gigantic.
I mean, I think you can make a nuclear warhead into like a soccer ball. Oh my God.
New idea.
The World Cup. That'd be a good way to do that.
Are you listening, James Bond writers? There you go.
They're taking it to the World Cup, not the World Cup. Why do you sound like that, M? Because we're the same person. It's a twist. James Bond isn't the same as...
James M. Bond is his full name.
Yeah. So anyway, Sergeant Boss is like, go into the air and do it at night because that's how practices work. And they're flying, and they're just like, ha, I'm John Travolta, I'm better than you, Christian Slater. Christian Slater's like, man, I'm just trying my best.
Yeah, this was very confusing as a first watch, because at first it's played off like Christian Slater says something to John Travolta like, oh yeah, your mom's got a huge box or something. And
again with the boxing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got to change. I can't say that anymore. It's too violent. Yeah. Your mom's got a huge hole.
Yeah, that's way more wholesome.
Yeah. I'm a feminist, so I'm trying to be more. And John Travolta looks at him like, you son of a bee, and starts punching him in the head. And then they eject and crash. And I was like, man, he is a hothead.
Yeah.
But it turns out that was his plan all along.
Yeah.
To just find a reason to hold a gun at Christian Slater's head and punch him.
Yeah, I think he wanted to kill him. Was the goal, but then how would you cover that? I think he was trying to make it seem like Christian Slater was the guy who was gonna steal the airhead or whatever. the airhead candies, and then what happens is park ranger woman, Madam Park Ranger, if you will, she witnesses it. She gets it all on tape, and by tape I mean her eyes. She sees a pipe. And this is what I want to dive into real quick, is the relationship between Christian Slater and Madam Park Ranger, because it's so stupid and so dumb. It's like Michael Bay dumb. So from her perspective, she's a park ranger. She sees, just a flying thing, a plane.
Technically a UFO, because she doesn't know what it is.
She doesn't know what it is. To her, it's a UFO. To everyone else, it's
a plane.
It's a stealth bomber, and so she sees somebody eject, right? So from her perspective, someone must be hurt or in danger. But when she catches up to him, which is like the next morning, she pulls a gun on him and says, freeze, motherfucker, or I'm going to blow your head off.
I'm going to send you to your fucking God, you little piece of shit. And he's like, well, hey, miss, I'm army man.
I'm gonna beat you up as his response. That's right. So it makes no sense. They're both technically officers that work for the government,
right?
But they immediately are aggressive towards each other, even if they don't know each other. there's no reason for either of them to be aggressive. She sees what should be a victim in her eyes, like, hey,
Right.
are you okay? But no, she pulls a gun, and for no reason, he attacks her, and then they wrestle around, and she's like, I never put bullets in my gun. And he's like, well, you have a knife, and also I'm going to beat you up again. Like,
You threatened to shoot me again, honey. I'm going to show you the back of my hand.
learning that from Sean Connery.
And then she's like, oh, just kidding. I actually do keep bullets in my gun. I'm like, why did we need this?
Yeah, like, okay, that was clever, I guess.
So they actually, I think there was a scene that was cut. Her background is that she auditioned to be in the Air Force, but she wasn't good enough, and they were like, I'm sorry, sweetie, it's a no from me. And they basically do like American Idol audition, but they get up and they like show how they would fly a jet, like with their hands, like, and they're like, he's like, yeah, man, that was pretty good. I mean, it was all right, but it's going to be a no from me. And then the other officer's like, I think you have a bright future. I think you are really beautiful. You're just not right for this Air Force program. So she was like self-conscious because she could only be a park ranger.
Right. She can only look good in the uniform, but the skills are just not there.
Oh, is that what they do? You go to the government and they're like,
Fashion
this
show.
is the uniform. Fashion show.
They like get up in the oh, here's the new Air Force 2024, and they walk out and they got the scarf and everything, and they do the pose in their boots.
Oh, honey, the Air Force look, it is not working for you. Okay, I see you more in something with earth tones.
Yeah, I don't know why they decided to add wings. They don't even work. It's cosmetic purely.
Yeah, so maybe that's it. She was self-conscious, and she's like, oh, this son of a bitch. All the Air Force people suck. They wouldn't let me into their stupid fashion show.
So they get into a little scuffle, and it's like a meet cute because, he's like, I'm a man, and she's like, I'm a tough lady.
I'm a man, too, in my attitude ways, but not my whole ways.
No, not in my catwalk ways. So they form a bond by tricking a helicopter into crashing. And they're like, yep, we're totally going to ride or die together.
Like, oh, okay. I see that you've got something to offer besides this ugly-ass uniform.
Yeah, Browns, yeah, not great.
Honey, I know I said earth tones, but I didn't say dirt tones, okay? You look like a custodian. No shame in being a custodian, but I'm just saying their uniforms aren't snappy. Hey, Congress, get on that.
Yeah, come on. So John Travolta steals the warheads, and he throws one in a cave, and he blows it up. He just throws it
like
in
a football?
Yeah. Well, more like a soccer ball, like we were talking. He like kicks it, but I mean they didn't make it into a ball in this, so it's just kind of like ka-kunk, ka-kunk, ka-kunk. It's like trying to kick an old tube TV into your apartment. Just like get it in there. And so he blows up the bottom of the ground.
Yeah, it's the mine shaft where Madam Park Ranger and Christian Slater are finding out that they're friends.
Yeah, Indiana Jones was looking for lost idols. They were just looking for themselves.
Yeah. Oh man, that should have been the tagline for this movie. They were searching for warheads, but what they found was love. Broken arrow.
Oh, they already made that. It's called Romancing the Stone.
Oh yeah, that's true. In True Romance, kind of.
Yeah.
So there they are, and Christian Slater's like, the first thing they teach you in nuclear school is how to undo it. And he's like typing on the side of the nuclear warhead to make sure it doesn't activate.
Yeah, he's trying to.
Meanwhile, he's on the phone with John Travolta, and John Travolta's like, trying to deactivate the warhead, are you? I knew you would. Changed it. So now when you disable it, it's armed. What?
Thanks for arming it for me, bro. I knew you were going to do that.
Also, wasn't he trying to sell the warheads back? He didn't want them to blow up.
He needed to prove a point. You know, in all these movies, they have to like kind of demonstrate, like, hey,
Listen,
this is real.
I want money, but what's more important than having an endless supply of money that I'm doing this for? I just want you to respect me.
Yeah.
I want you to look at me as an equal. Oh, and that's what Park Ranger. Oh, there's the connection because
that's the
John Travolta and Madam Park Ranger are both just searching for
Christian Slater.
They are. This is a weird triangle.
Yeah, they're each trying to search for the other, and it's like all they're doing is chasing each other's tails. Sorry, holes or catwalks. Whatever.
It's a very far distance Mexican standoff.
Yeah, it's basically Reservoir Dogs. It's John Woo saw that scene in Reservoir Dogs and like, ooh, let's make that into a movie. But instead of it being interesting, we'll have John Travolta in it.
So Christian Heathers he's like, here, we're in a mine shaft. Duh. Let's just put the bomb ball down further.
Spike it.
Easy peasy. And then, a nuclear warhead explodes. And they're fine.
Yeah, because of the butterflies.
Because they get out and Madam Park Ranger is like you would be after a nuclear explosion.
Yeah. And also it's cold. They were in the water.
And he's like, you see those butterflies? You want to know how I got these butterflies? Because Heath Ledger as the Joker as Christian Slater.
Yeah, well, Heath Ledger was supposed to get that role, so they were like, just be Heath Ledger.
And he's like, remember that nuclear manual I was telling you about earlier that is required reading to be a pilot?
Well, if you're going to be in a plane that has a bomb that could destroy the planet,
sure,
you better know what it does.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I don't know if the manual would say butterfly specifically.
Well, the second thing it says after how to disarm it is that
Chapter 1, how to disarm. Chapter 2, butterflies.
In the instance that someone has disabled the disabling device and you are stuck blowing up the warhead and running away, if it blows up and you see butterflies, you're totally fine.
You're alive because you have the power of sight.
So just remember, butterfly, you're alive.
If a butter flies, then you're alive.
Alligators, you're one baked tater. If alligators show up, that's bad.
If they show up belly up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Gator belly. Sorry.
Go to helly. Yep, there's our trademark. Every episode, we got to have a lesson.
If you see a tree, you'd better flee, because that doesn't tell you anything. You don't know.
No, but trees are bad.
but it's not a good sign.
No. And so, and they're all like, "Oh God, it's so cold from being."
It's a nuclear winter. That's not what.
It's an above ground nuclear winter. And so John Travolta is like, yeah, I knew that would happen.
That's his attitude the whole movie. No matter what happens, he's like, yep, called it.
Called it. And then he calls the president and is like, yo, I did that. I know you noticed it. So I'm just going to claim that I'm responsible. And you're going to give me a bunch of money. And then Howie Long is also in the movie. That's a good.
Oh, yeah, Howie Long. We got to talk about that.
We do. That's why I made that brilliant segue from passionately talking about John Travolta's plan to
you
Howie
might
Long.
as well be standing on a machine that does your walking for you because you're the king of segways. Am I right? You like how long that took to get out?
Yeah, that completely made no sense until the last word, and even then I was already too tired to understand.
Listen, folks, Broken Arrow wasn't great. You got to stretch it out.
Well, they stretched out the runtime in this movie. I was fast-forwarding a little bit. But I was not fast-forwarding the scenes with Howie Long. He is great. I love Howie Long.
Yeah.
And I discovered that so when he falls from from the train or whatever and he dies, he does the Howie scream, which is this sound right here. Yep. And it's like the Wilhelm scream. It's everywhere. Now, I did not know, I know the Howie scream, the Wilhelm and all that stuff, but I did not know that it was attributed to Howie Long specifically because that recording has existed since 1980. I don't remember the film.
Yeah, it was something dumb.
It's some movie. But it's someone else's scream that Howie Long is taking credit for.
That's right.
But it's a great scream. It's a classic. One of my favorites, though, is I forget the name of this scream, but it's this one.
But this is what's weird. So do you think that when Howie Long was playing professional football, he was like, one day I'm going to have a scream I didn't do named after me?
Yeah, if there's anything named after him, it's a scream and not a football
weird
move.
He is very interesting because he has had one of the most unique career trajectories of any football player that I'm aware of. And I'm sure lovely spectators will let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm not ever wrong. So
nope.
He was a professional football player. Then he was an actor in action movies. Then he became a sports analyst, commentator.
Yeah.
Like, that's just such a weird, like...
I mean, that's not that weird.
No, it's weird to have the movies in the middle of it.
No, I mean, there are some sports people who do that.
I know what you're thinking, Faison Love, but he didn't become an analyst. He just became an actor, and he's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Well, there's John Madden. He's in movies.
That's not the same. He's playing himself.
Yeah. Remember that rom-com where it was like, I'm so Madden in love with you?
Oh, my God.
And he's like, boy, it's real hard to find a date in the city.
First, you got to run a circle pattern around the coffee shop, and then you got to get in right here to the bistro,
and you got to bump into her at the bookstore, and it's wide open. You got to catch her love in the end zone.
So then Christian Slater and company are flying close to the moving train because they figured out where Saturday Night Fever has taken the remaining warhead that didn't explode to Denver for some reason. And they're like, time to give these guys a haircut. That's a direct quote from the movie, which means they're going to fly the helicopter close and cut them up with the blades. And then the pilot crashes the helicopter and dies. After Christian Slater gets off the helicopter.
Well, that's why we say, we always stand by don't drink and drive, whether it's a car or a helicopter, whether it's water or alcohol, doesn't matter. If you're flying a heli, don't drink anything. So, there's no rhyme because it's very serious. This is not fun.
That's right. That's right, folks.
So John Travolta's in there, and he's all like, he's like doing that Aikido thing, even though he doesn't know Aikido. He's like, what is that? Like he's flashing the feet, he's dancing.
Yeah. He's a sexy dance fighting.
Yeah. He's all like fevering it up.
Yep. Saturday Night Capoeira.
And he's beating the shit out of Christian Slater, and he says this line that is so fucking funny. And it drove me crazy. I had to turn on the subtitles and watch it a couple times to make sure I heard it right. But he's got Christian Slater's head, he's got his head pinned down on something, against metal or whatever. And he
just
puts
random boxes that are in every train
that's right.
car.
Yeah, those empty crates that trains are always hauling.
Yep.
And he's got his thumb on his temple, and he's like, when I press my hand against your skull, it feels like this. What?
And he's like, okay, are you narrating your own fight?
Like Christian Slater's like, oh man, I wish he would tell me what's happening. I can't feel anything. And he goes, no, it feels like this. you right?
Oh. Cool, thanks.
Cool. It's not like earlier in the movie when we were boxing, you're like, oh, it feels like this.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be like, oh, this is Christian Slater's big chance to show John Travolta he's not afraid anymore. I'm a man.
Yeah, I'm a man. I'm going to beat you up.
I'm a real boy. I learned courage because I met a park ranger that is adorable.
Well, he had to go... He had to climb the necessary steps on the ladder. He had to beat up a lady, and then he had to beat up himself.
Right.
And then now he can beat up John Travolta.
I mean, this really is the classic hero's quest.
Yeah.
Classic archetypal story.
It's the hero of 1,000 faces.
Yeah, There are only 6 plots, or 7. I don't know. There's not very many.
And this is one of them, or all of them.
And then, Christian Slater's like, you know what? We're going to make this one. I don't remember. One of them's like, we're going to make this warhead be a warhead.
No, he makes it, or he makes it, because this is what was confused. I thought that, because it's disarmed, but I thought he turned it on to shoot, to like fly and shoot John Travolta into the belly and shoot him out of the train, and it explodes. And it's like, wait, why didn't it explode the way a warhead's supposed to? And it's like, he did not arm it at all, and he didn't make it shoot. It was the train crashing that made it fly across the train car at such velocity that it folds Travolta in half, shooting him through a black hole, ripping time and space. So much that Doctor Who makes a little appearance. He's like, hey, you left this in my TARDIS. I'm going to just put it here on the train tracks for you.
Yeah, so the train stopped with such force that the missile flew forward, not of its own power.
Right, yeah.
And turned John Travolta into a rubber dummy.
Yeah. And that is fun. Like, if you're like me, you have it on DVD for some reason, throw that sucker in and do some freeze frame action on that part, because his dummy is really nice. And it's
you
on
own
there.
This movie on DVD?
Oh, yeah, baby. That's right. It's right here. It is right here. And if you have the DVD like me, you'll see that Travolta is much more prominent on the poster.
Yeah, and Christian Slater's given that look like, I'm the bad guy. But he's not. He's not.
No. Yeah, it's very strange.
So in this scene, John Travolta is like a heap on the train ground, and he sees the warhead. It's rocketing. It can't just be it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, he stands up with plenty of time. Instead of jumping out of the way or falling back into a train ground heap, he looks at the missile, does the Kubrick stare, and smiles and says something like, "Here we go, big dogs," or whatever. He's like,
"Give me all you got."
Yeah. Yeah. He's like fucking Dr. Strangelove over here, like, woo!
He's like, "This ain't nothing. I run train cars."
Well, I'm going to run a train on this warhead. I don't know.
Well, Christian Slater ran a train on Market Lady.
Well, so Travolta gets out Travolta'd.
Yeah, he gets Travolted.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in that movie Bolt.
He blows up. He's got a real Saturday Night Fever now.
Yeah, the one that puts you 6 feet under.
That missile was a real phenomenon.
Yeah, he really was a Michael.
Yeah, he's with the Angels now.
Yeah, because he died. Yeah, he went to heaven.
Everybody goes to heaven.
Everybody goes to heaven.
All go to heaven.
Everyone goes to heaven.
Y'all go to heaven.
So yeah, that's the movie. I think this is the fastest we've ever talked about anything ever.
I mean, there's not really much else to say. It's
no.
At the end, we get the Christian Slater and Madam Park Ranger, and she's like, "You're still under arrest, right?" And he's like, we don't need handcuffs our first time we fuck, okay? We can just have it regular style the first time. We don't need to have, like, role play. And then he looks off into the distance and is like, "I win." Holds his fist up in the air, and there's a freeze frame.
And it cuts to the clouds. And John Travolta's face, comes out of the clouds, and he's like nodding, like, "Yep, I'm in heaven." And, you did it.
This was all just to help you find the love of your life.
Yeah. He's like Mufasa in the clouds, just watching over him now.
Everything the light touches is your territory, Madam Park Ranger.
Yeah. Now get in that.
Wow.
And then the credits. You want to talk about the credits? We got some time.
So this is this movie. One of the things that surprised me was that it was made with these actors, because it really, the quality of the CGI and the quality of the writing and everything in it. It felt like you remember like as kids, like a Sunday afternoon, your parents are off trying to not pay attention to you. And you're just hanging out in the living room with your action figures watching whatever's on TV. And this is like, you watch this and you might take a nap and then you get up and eat cookies or something. Yeah. This is that kind of movie.
It's a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, matinee on WGN.
It's right.
Or CMT or the Classic Movie Channel or whatever.
CMT, Country Music Television.
TMC, Turner Classics.
Turner, yeah.
Yeah, 1996 Turner Classic Movie. Right after this, we're going to be Jimmy Stewart's Harvey. But,
followed by Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
That has not come out yet.
No, it's Harvey in Last Action Hero.
Your foster parents are dead.
You don't want to piss off Harvey. He'll come at you, bro. So this was definitely because it's a John Woo movie. It's a John Woovie, and like unlike his other films like The Killer or Hard Boiled or the aforementioned Face Off, this movie just has like no style. It's not memorable. I mean, you could argue that like, some of the scenes are kind of, it's an action movie, but it's very basic. Like after watching this movie and then seeing, John Woo directed this, it's like, was this one of his first movies? It's like, no, this is like the middle of his career.
It's almost like he made this movie to make Face Off look good when it came out.
Yeah. Like he said, like he put this one out. It was like, hey, don't even worry about it, guys. I got something. This is one of those, this is for the studio, this one's for me.
This is like, before you have dinner at a nice restaurant, you eat a bite of something really vile and shitty. So that when you get there, you're like, oh my God, this tastes so much better than the like Marmite that I just ate on the way out of my house.
Well, I mean, that's my jam in general. Like if I go on a date, and we're like, hey, yeah, I'll meet you at Les Chaises d'Oreille.
First, you have sex with a really ugly woman. So
well, I was gonna say I stop at McDonald's for a couple of McDoubles, but I mean,
oh yeah, well that's just nervous.
But that's just
pre-date.
But that's like while I do it, I have a little burger sex with
Nothing like a little burger sex to make steak conversation feel even better.
Oh, yeah. I tell you this right now for free. Lovely spectators, if you're listening, if there's one piece of advice that you're not going to ignore from us, it's fill your bed with burgers instead of rose petals. Because not only will it feel nice, that smell will just, oh boy, that'll make you really wet and hard. I mean, literally wet. There's
wet. You're gonna be wet and hard.
Well, there's so much ketchup.
Your house is just gonna vaguely smell that weird. Like everything you get from McDonald's is just like a different shape of that smell.
Oh yeah, get that wet car key scent.
Oh my God.
Just like future Jono's place.
I gotta say, this movie gets 3 out of 7 stolen hearts of a park ranger.
Wait, does she have 7 hearts?
They get they're not her. I mean, she owns them.
They're in
jars. Yeah.
I was gonna say an ice chest or something. An igloo ice chest.
Well, that's how they come in the mail. But then she transfers them to jars or Tupperware.
They're gonna go bad.
Yeah. That's why you use Tupperware's patented burp technology.
Yeah. You gotta
burp lets you know it's fresh.
You gotta get Rubbermaid. That's the good stuff.
What Tupperware is a different brand.
No, Tupperware is what it is. It's like the difference between Band-Aid and adhesive strip.
Right. Okay. Yes. But Band-Aid is a brand of adhesive strip.
That's what I'm saying. Like Tupperware, that's not a brand.
Is a brand. Yes, it is. It's like Kleenex. So what is just use it interchangeably.
So what is it called?
It's called refrigerator box.
Oh yeah, I if I'm gonna have a refrigerator box, it's got to be Tupperware.
Well, listen, do you go to the store and be like, I need facial tissues?
Yes.
No, you say I need. Okay.
Well, first off,
creepy.
Well, first off, I don't ask anybody for anything because I know where they.
You don't say to yourself,
Yeah.
I need facial tissue.
I say
out
it.
loud.
I do. I go there and I'm like, I need eggs. And then people are like, whoa.
Am I supposed to get them for it?
Well, the reason why for their puzzled faces, everybody, is because I'm at a bookstore. But like, I have to say it to remind myself after the bookstore, I need to go to the egg store. So I would, you know what? I would rate this movie. You say 3 out of 7 hearts.
3 out of 7 stolen hearts.
Stolen hearts. I would give it 3 out of 14 broken arrow tips.
Oh, so you liked it half as much as but the exchange rate.
Yeah, because the arrow tips are better than the bottom part of the arrow. So if you're going to have any part of the broken arrow, you got to get the arrow tips.
Oh, that's right, because you can still use them like to make dinosaurs out of clay or whatever.
Yeah, because I'd say 14 of those is probably equal to, like, I don't know, 116 stolen hearts.
Wait, where are you getting your hearts from? Because those don't sound like good ones.
They're little mice hearts.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so those are just like an amuse-bouche. You can't make a meal out of them.
No, it's basically a peppercorn.
Would anyone like some fresh ground mice hearts? God, that's so ghoulish. That's like a snake restaurant.
Well, it's for your goulash.
Your goulash.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Ooh, a snake restaurant? That'd be great.
Folks, I hope that we've stolen your hearts. So let us know. battlesatfilmfightspodcast.com is our email. So why don't you go ahead and drop us a line. Tell us if you've got ideas for future battles or singlies or just what's on your mind. Also, what are you doing? Not rating and subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts. You goofball, get to it. And make sure you're following us, Film Fights Podcast, Facebook, and Instagram. Probably.
Probably, yes. Please do it.
I haven't checked today. It's probably still there.
Yes. Yell at us. Tell us what to do. Give us movie ideas. Say stuff like, Conrad is the best.
Yep.
Jono, you need to take a rest. Thank you. I need the rest. I've been working so hard. But anyway, if you're going to watch Broken Arrow...
Bye!
Cameras. Come on, everybody.
Let's cameras.
Do the cameras.
Do the camera. Because cameras are still crank operated.
What's a more showy dance than this? Do the camera. Do the camera. Everybody take your left hand, put it up. Everybody take your right hand and put it up. Now crank it.
Portrait shot. Now lift up the flash powder. Push on the button. Pull over the curtain over your head.
Don't catch on fire. It's fire time. It's fire time. Do the camera. Do the camera. Now it's 1987 and you've got your disposable.
There's only 50% chance that we will be able to see it.
Red eye. Oh no. Red eye. Oh no. Now you're dead. Smile. Okay, so seriously, we gotta get started. Can this just be the episode? It's just us trying to get started. I have to change the time now. All right, so here we go.